2 years ago, almost to the day, I got an email from a young lady who was studying in Switzerland, and she told me I needed to look into this new company by the name of CRISPR. And I did. And that became a passion for me. And I guess you might say I am an early adopter. I bought CRISPR in November of 2020. And since then, I have added 6 other stocks that are going to change the world to the degree unparalleled by anything that has ever come, even the digital revolution, because I think these companies are going to change the code of life. That is, they're going to take the diseases that kill us out of our bodies. And I want to share with you because I think they're about to explode, and I want to show you why I think that.
Best of Us Investors presents Carrie Griegmeyer.
I have a very simple objective with this video, and that is to make you a multimillionaire. I believe that we are at a point that we were in at the end of the dot-com bubble, as the tech stocks were getting beaten down, and then they turned around and they created what we now know as the digital revolution. Well, as I said, I bought CRISPR about 2 years exactly ago, and then I have added to it as I have read a mountain of books about the science and the technology, and Jennifer Doudna and Emmanuel D. Carpentier and the people who are behind the science that is going to change the world in a greater degree than anything else. So I'm sitting here and I'm saying, this is 2001, and I'm telling you to buy Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon. And if you had added to them over the years, you'd be a multi-millionaire today. So as I show you this graph here, this chart that I created on TradingViews, and what I'm comparing is the 7 stocks that I think will dwarf the growth of Apple, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft over the next 5 to 10 years. And I think as I look at this graph and I follow them, they're at the point at where they're turning, and I'll show you why I think that. But here's the stocks. The first one that I bought, I said, was CRISPR. Then I added Editas, Caribou, Beam, and Intella. These are all genome editing stocks. These are the stocks that are creating the science that will put a needle in your arm and tell you probably the first disease is going to be sickle cell anemia. There are some that are working on childhood blindness. These are all mutations in our body, mistakes that we've acquired over the years as a result of our eating habits, our use of the environment, and more importantly, those of our ancestors. We took the body that God gave us and we screwed it up, okay? And now this science is saying we can come in and unscrew it up. And it's a matter of genome editing. Now, the other element and the other 2 stocks that I want you to consider are Illumina and Pacific Biosciences. These are 2 companies that roughly control 98% of the market of the machine that goes in and analyzes your genome. Basically looks at that string that you saw in the thumbnail and says, right there is the mutation, the mistake that Kerry has acquired from his ancestors. And this is why his mother died of cancer. This is why his father died of cancer. And this is why why his daughter died of cancer. And if we can go into Carrie's body and cut that out and then replace it with the right genome sequencing, his family, he won't die of cancer. And if we can do it in the egg and sperm of his grandchildren, we'll take it out of his bloodline. Okay? That's the machine that will show, and that's controlled by Illumina and Pacific Bioscience. So once then CRISPR, Editis, Caribou, Beam, and Intella create the drugs. They're doing it now in bone marrow and Petri dishes. Once they create the drugs that they can put a needle in my arm and go into the mutation that was identified by the Illumina and Pacific Bioscience, they can change the world. Okay? That's what's there. The science is there. We just got to make it believable or prove that it works and does less potential damage than it does good. So, and that's controlled by the Federal Food and Drug Administration. And that's right, and as it should be. But as this evolves, the world is going to change. I mean, imagine that these 5 companies come up with the drugs, the treatment, the editing that can take away Alzheimer's, can take away cancer, can take away heart disease, Parkinson's, dementia. At that point, the medical community and the medical insurance community will say everybody needs their genome sequenced. And Illumina and Pacific Bioscience will explode because you will get a notification from your doctor that says, get your ass in here and get your genome sequenced so that we can then determine what the propensity is for all of these diseases to appear in your body and learn which of these needle-in-arm drugs you need to take the Alzheimer's out of your body, the Parkinson's, the cancer. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how important that will be to society? Okay, so that's what's on the horizon. I bought into this, as I said, over the last 2 years. And looking at this chart, you can see I've lost money. You can look at over here on the far side, and you can see how most of these companies are in the red as of now. Now what I want to do is show you this chart on a shorter time frame. Okay, this is the same chart from TradingViews, but I've gone in and I've changed the start date from rather than 2 years ago to 6 months ago. And I want you to look at what you're seeing here. You're seeing now all those negative numbers have turned positive. You've got Illumina up 12%. You've got Editis up 21%. Intella up 27%. Caribou up 45%. Beam up 51%. And Pacific Bioscience up 99%. Why is that? Why are they turning around? Because the science is being adapted or accepted by more people. In the case of Pacific Bioscience, I did a video just, I guess, 2 weeks ago where they have announced that they have now brought the cost of genome sequencing. They have created a new machine that will get it down to $100 per sequence. And to give you some reference, in 2000, it was $1 million. In 2020, it was $1,000. And now they're saying in 2023, they're going to have it down to $100, that you will be able to go to your doctor's office and you will have your genome sequenced. They're recognizing that this science is coming quickly, and they want to be in a position to outperform Illumina. right now, Illumina controls 90% of it, and Pacific Bioscience controls about 5% of the sequencing that's going on. But as I know from my reading, Illumina has come back and said, wait a second, we can get it down to that price as well. And one of them does a long sequence, and another one does the short sequence. So this will be their competitive factor that the medical world will have to decide which one is going to be the predominant. Then you have within Illumina, they own a company called Quilt. It's a Israeli company, and this company has the ability to analyze your body and bring that sequencing down from you've got cancer, which the machine will tell you, but Quilt will be able to tell you what kind of cancer you have. And thus, the drug then that is provided by Beam and Editas and Caribou will be even more specific. Beam has a drug that is different than Editas and Caribou and CRISPR in that it can get into, as I understand it, tighter places. This is where then the science will get even refined. And what I know is this is just the beginning. Just as we had the digital revolution, which started in the early 90s, which gave us the ability to do search and to read. Well, Digital Revolution 2.0 brought us not only e-commerce, but the ability to edit photos and do all the wonderful things that we take for granted now in the science of the digital revolution. That is exactly what's going to happen in this, what I choose to call the movement from health care to health cure. Okay? So that's where I want to go. I do not want to deal in the day-to-day market, stock market that is right now being influenced by inflation and interest rates and stuff that I can't control. This I can control. And how can I control it? I can read. I can read the code breaker, the Bible of the industry. I can read books that give me more detailed information on what is going to happen next, like lifespan, the why we age and why we don't have to. This is about this. And you need to invest in it. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking my portfolio down into sectors. I talked to you earlier. I have a portfolio that is focusing on war. We're at war, okay? Believe it or not, we're at war. We're spending billions of dollars on a daily basis to build the military machine to protect us from Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping. And if you haven't seen those videos, I'm sorry, go find them. I'm building a portfolio then on this, the genome sequencing world. And I'm going to use these kind of graphs and this kind of detail to tell me when are we going to the next step. Because what I want to do is when I see this turn and I see that it's moving up, I want to add to my positions. That's, as I say, I'm an early adapter. I've taken a beating, but this is going to make my grandchildren multimillionaires, and I want it to happen to you. I also want you to be aware that we're at war and that there are companies that are making money. And the most important things now in our life, because we're going into war, besides genome sequencing, is our housing, our food, our water, our energy, and our cybersecurity. And that's all at threat because of Vladimir Putin and Xi Jinping. As I said, I've done other videos. You go find them. Okay, that's where I'm going. The next portfolio I'm going to build is where I get back into big tech, where I get back into Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Facebook. Where is the bottom? and I'll do that with a similar graph as this so that I can, through trading views, go in and look and see where the momentum is going, where it is turning. And that's what I want to do for you. I'll teach you how to make these graphs, okay? What you have to do that is become a part of our community, become a part of our tribe. Go to the link in the description and find your way to our Discord. We have 3 levels, I believe. We have a $4 a month, we have a $10 a month, and we have a $60 a month. I'll leave it to you to figure out what is right for you. But I want you to share in my knowledge, my experience, and the tribe that helps me make good investment decisions, learn my tax code so that I keep more of what I make. I understand what a qualified account is as opposed to a non-qualified account, and then build an estate that I can pass on to my family. And that gets into estate planning and other things that we'll talk about over on our Discord. Okay, that's where I'm at. I'm excited about what's happening in our stock market. I believe we are at a point of huge opportunity. And I know a lot of you have gotten your ass kicked, but that's the cycle. And that's what happens to you when you play the game against the professionals and you play their game. Do not play against the professional football team unless you can get those players off the floor or off the field, up into the stands, and play chess against them. Do not play football against them. Do not play stock market against Wall Street. Move to a different game. And we're playing the long game, and we're using knowledge and experience rather than quantum minuscule minute trading. Okay? That's what Kerry Grinkmeyer is about. That's what Best of Us investors are about. And I got to go eat breakfast. Talk to you again tomorrow.